Hey everyone, I want to welcome you back to another episode of GroupCast Sports Pick'em, which is brought to you by Maggie Maid, Sharon Ammann, Rodan and Fields, People's Bank, and Brandy's Hope. Just jumping right into the action, going to go do a recap of last week's game, starting with our featured game last week, which was Brandon taking on Northwest Rankin. This was an absolute shocker, in my opinion. I know a few of us chose Northwest Rankin to win, but Brandon beat them pretty bad. The final score was 34-13. Guys, what do y'all think went wrong in this game?
Well, they just let Brandon jump up on them way too early. They let Brandon go up 21-0, and at that point, once Brandon was up by 3 possessions, you could call the game right there.
I just think that Brandon has more talent than Northwest Rankin, and it showed that Friday night.
Mingo completely dominated Jerry Jones the whole game, and that was the difference in the game.
Like to take a moment to say I should have bet against Northwest Rankin because this time they got absolutely demolished.
Didn't we bet money on that game?
I believe the wheels fell off of that wagon.
I don't remember, but yeah, the wheels fell off the wagon I was riding Northwest Rankin wagon, and they got absolutely destroyed. Brandon just has too many insanely good players, and that's why they got the win.
Moving on to the next game, McGee taking on Newton. Now, all of us, most of us, knew that this game was not going to be close. Newton was not good, and McGee, they're still in that iffy stage in the season. McGee ended up pulling this one out 50-7. You know, that's about it with that game, honestly. I mean, Ethan was the only one who chose Newton.
Bad pick.
Yeah.
Terrible pick.
I mean, it was an obvious choice.
Terrible pick. Newton is absolute.
Newton's not
terrible.
good.
They are worse than bad.
McGee might be bad.
I think they've only held one or two teams so far to under 50.
And McGee is an average football team. We should have never thought. No one should have ever had a thought in their mind that Newton could win. Even Newton's players should have known before they stepped on the field that it wasn't going to happen.
You had more faith in Newton than Newton did.
Yeah. Moving on to the next game, Simpson Academy taking on Cathedral. This was Simpson's homecoming game, and boy did they play like they had something to prove. Final score was 54-20, and now to me, this Simpson team, they're starting to get their players back. And
How big is Hooks Harvey coming back?
Hooks Harvey coming back is definitely
a little bit. They broke the ice this week.
Yeah.
There's going to be something in district.
Listen, I thought Cathedral was going to come in there. I thought Simpson was going to take them lightly. You know, homecoming, yet players' minds are on different things. Cathedral came in undefeated. While they did play absolutely terrible teams, they came in undefeated. I thought maybe they'll sweep the rug out from Simpson, but I was completely wrong. Simpson absolutely dominated.
I could have told you, as big as Simpson's kids' egos are, they did not care about homecoming. That was the last thing on their mind.
Listen, I should have picked Simpson, and I'm going to learn from my mistakes. Simpson's a better football team than I thought, especially with all these.
And we'll get a lot more in depth with that with these upcoming games this week. Now on to our last game from last week. It was Mendenhall taking on Purvis. Mendenhall was coming off of a bye week and kind of a redemption game for them against Purvis, who obviously everyone knows put them out of the playoffs last year and really sealed the deal for that storybook ending that they were all wanting and hoping for last season. And the final score to that was Mendenhall 29, Purvis 8. And at first, the Mendenhall fans might have got a little nervous there for a second. At the beginning.
Okay, at the beginning, Purvis scored on the first drive, and now they went on. They were shut down the rest of the game.
The only time I think Purvis crossed the 50 really
was
when they already started on the other side of the 50.
I will say that Purvis did better than I honestly thought. They held Mendenhall to a low score compared to what Mendenhall has been doing. Purvis is a better team than I thought, but in the end I knew they would win. I will say I love a guy from Purvis, number 11. He was a great player. I'm not going to lie. He was great. He was great catching the ball. He did great, and I really liked his attitude. Now, a lot of people hate on me for that, but he was really he had his head in the game, and I think that might have messed with some Mendenhall players' heads, made them a little crazy. And I will say one thing to note is that in this game, Michael Jr. did suffer an injury. He'll be out.
Yeah, that was a big part of only scoring 28.
He'll be out next week, and
He's out
Now
this
that you're
week.
bringing up Michael
We don't
Jr.
know.
while talking about 11,
I have no respect for you. No.
I just want to talk about how scummy of what he did was. I mean, what do you do when a player's injured? You kneel. You don't sit there and clap and beat your chest when somebody's down with a torn shoulder.
listen, I don't think
He
the
sure,
guy.
sure wasn't clapping after that game.
After, and I'm going to tell you, I keyed in on him and watched him after what he did, and he gave up a huge run that Keyshawn got around the end. And 11, that was his side of the field, and he dove, missed, and he let a couple passes on his side that ended up being a big game.
Another Jesse Johnson.
Jesse Johnson. I'm not gonna lie.
And when they put Christian on him at DB, he didn't do much.
He did
I'm
not
not
do
gonna lie.
anything.
Jesse Johnson, I like you, man. I don't think he was necessarily clapping because Michael Jr. was hurt, and maybe he was.
He looked at him, clapped,
I don't
and he
think
was
I don't think he clapped because he was hurt. I think he clapped because
He looked at him.
He literally
He looked at
clapped
him.
and stepped over him.
I thought he got up clapping because he made a big play.
Yeah, he made
No,
a big.
he-
But then he steps over him.
And then
His head was in the game. He didn't know Michael Jr. would not come back. He made
Oh
a big,
yeah, because he's just sitting there like this, and he's standing over him.
He hit stick.
Anyways,
he
was 31-15
I wanna
and he
get
stopped
He
He
did
did not hit stick.
Okay,
they
enough.
stood up.
Well, Jesse-
hit
Jesse-
stick is
Jesus.
when you run him over.
Jesse Johnson, if you're watching this, if anybody knows Jesse Johnson, let him know that we here at GroupCast would love him to be a special
give
guest on Pick'em one week.
I want to give number 10, the quarterback, a shout out because for some reason Mendenhall's D-line didn't even care about who was running the ball at some point. They would just go up and hit him for no reason. And at one point he finally got tired of it, and he was standing his own and would just pop him right back. And one time it didn't work out too good for him. He got hit pretty hard. He was pretty upset about it, but I give it to him. He stood his own.
I want to give a shout out to Jamal Johnson and Frederick Tanner. They combined for 27 tackles, and when you have two guys who can almost get 30 tackles between the two of them, that's big.
That's good. Now moving on to this week's games. Starting off with our featured game, also want to be sure to thank everyone who has been contacting us, sending us in your high school's games to get featured. As the weeks progress, we're steadily getting more and more, so really want to thank everyone who does that and want to encourage all y'all to continue to send those in. But after we looked at it, went over it, it was no question that this week's featured game would be Madison Central versus Clinton. Now, don't get me wrong, Madison Central and Clinton are two really good football teams. But in my opinion, I think that what sets these two apart and what decides who wins this game this week, is when Brandon played both of these teams and Clinton came out victorious and Madison Central lost. And I think Clinton hands it to Madison Central this week. I think they're the better team. And I personally think that they beat Madison Central by 2 or more touchdowns.
I'm going to have to disagree with that one. On the 2 touchdowns, I got Clinton winning. Just not by 2 touchdowns. I think it'll be a close game, but Clinton's obviously the better team. It's going to be a great 6A match. I said earlier in our first few videos that the 6A was on a down year this year, but as the seasons went on, it's gotten better.
Yeah.
And they're definitely 2 of the top teams in the state. It's going to be a good game, but I got Clinton winning probably by a touchdown.
Everyone said that Northwest Rankin was the top school in 6A last week, and Brandon showed them that. I guess you could say Brandon was, but I think Clinton's the best team in 6A, and I think they show that Friday night.
I think this is going to be a close game. 2 big-time 6A programs, but, I mean, I don't know what else to say. I think Clinton's just got a bit of swagger right now. They're coming off some big wins, and, momentum's a big thing in football. Momentum can take you a lot of places, and I think Clinton's got a lot of it. They've been a powerhouse for years and years, and I think that just propels them into this game. I think they're confident.
Clinton is without a doubt going to win this game by, I'm going to go with anywhere from 17 to 30 points. Clinton's an overall better team. That they have more than what Madison Central has on both sides of the ball, and they just I want to say a lot of people slept on Clinton. I'm one that did. I never thought.
Well, it was that first game against South Panola when South Panola has 8 turnovers and they only
lost.
They only
lost, but I think Clinton won 14-7.
Yeah,
exactly. And you think
so? Everybody's thinking like
when you think that, you think Clinton.
I'm like Clinton's not the same.
It's Clinton. It's not the
but
same. Yeah.
Then after that win against Brandon, I saw that was just a down week, and they are the truth. I think Clinton might be the best team in 6A. And I'm not joking when I say that.
I disagree with that.
I think they are.
No, without a doubt, Clinton wins by a lot.
It's a unanimous decision here. We've all got Clinton winning. Moving on to the next game, you have the 3-2 McGee Trojans taking on Lanier, who is 4-1. This game, it's a tough one. When I was sitting down looking at it, McGee has 2 really tough losses in Mendenhall and Collins. 2 games that were really close at halftime that just got away from them. And this Lanier team beat a pretty well-rounded Morton team. And
Morton's got a lot of athletes.
Morton's a good football team, and Lanier beat them. However, I do think that McGee has the athletes. I think that they have the skill set, and I do think that they do end up coming out victorious in this game. I don't think it's a blowout. I think that McGee wins anywhere from 7 to 10 points.
Like you said, Lanier's got a good team, but I mean, a lot of people look at McGee and they see them getting beat, them 2 losses. And a lot of people have already counted them out. And I mean, I wouldn't say they're a good team, but they're not a bad team. And they got a lot of good athletes. They got some playmakers. They held Collins close all the way through the game. They held Mendenhall close up until halftime. But they're better than what a lot of people are putting them off to. I don't see them doing anything like winning anything meaningful this year, but I see them winning this game by 14 points.
Yeah.
I haven't been with McGee. I'm not gonna lie. Probably been a little biased towards them. But I'm going to go with them this week. I think McGee's overall a better team than Lanier, and I think Friday night they win by about 14 to 17 points.
Y'all know I've been really high on McGee since we've started this, but I think they lose this week. I think Lanier's a good football team. They've beaten a couple decent teams in Morton, and the other one slipped me, but I know we played Morton in the spring game, and Morton's got a ton of athletes. So I don't know. I just got a hunch feeling that Lanier pulls one out.
I don't disagree with Steven on this one. I think Lanier wins this game. McGee, I'm not going to say isn't good. They're a really good football team. Or not a really good football team. They're a decent football team. Lanier is also a decent football team. So I see this one being close. It could go either way. But Lanier, I think, is a better team. They're a bigger team. They're a bigger school. And I think they have better athletes than McGee does. Now, McGee has good athletes, but
McGee is very well coached for the talent they have.
Yeah. Teddy Dice has come in there and honestly done a pretty good job.
I think Teddy Dice doesn't do that great against Lanier, and I think Lanier gets the dub.
Moving on to the next game, you have Simpson Academy taking on East Rankin. To me, this is a no-brainer. Simpson Academy wins this game. They're going to win big. But I just want to talk for a second about this Simpson Academy football team, and do y'all see this team as the season has progressed from ever since that first Leak game,
the Park Lane loss.
the Park Lane, and then I'm talking about Leak and to now.
I said it since the Park Lane loss. They have so much talent that it was disappointing to watch them play so poorly. And now everything is clicking.
They're
so
picking it up.
perfectly.
Yeah.
Simpson has gotten very good very fast. They've gotten a lot of guys. They had the injury bug. A lot of guys came back, and they're continuing to come back, and they're continuing to get really good. I think at the beginning of the year I was pretty hard on Simpson, but after watching them these past few games, I think they're a team to watch. Like for the big one, I think.
Right now, there's no game that I'm more excited for than Lamar. I want to see Lamar and Simpson.
I really think Simpson can hang with Lamar, and
this could be a good game.
I have been on Simpson throughout the whole year, and they've let me down a couple times, but I think they win this one with ease, probably 3 or 4 touchdowns, honestly. Yeah. And it'll be a first district win. Hooks Harvey came back last week. They got a win. The team, like Alex said, the injury bug first of the season. Now they got Caleb back, Hooks back. This team's good.
Like Steven said, momentum is a big thing in football, and this Simpson football team is coming off of two good wins. And East Rankin, they've won one game. They're not good.
They're bad.
Simpson's going to start off in District 1-0, and I'm excited.
Is this a district game?
Yeah, so
and I'm excited to see how district plays.
I love it.
Oh yeah,
see everything
it's gonna get good.
I think Simpson wins this game. You know, the coach at East Rankin doesn't have a good history of winning football games. Derwood Anderson.
He won 3 games.
For y'all who don't know, Derwood Anderson is the former Mendenhall High School football coach. Or he was the head coach. First, he started off as the defensive coordinator. Then
had a lot of talent, never could win the big game.
Yeah, so it's exciting.
This is a big game for East Rankin, and he could never win the big game, so I have no confidence.
He beat St. Sal.
And then what he did? And then what he threw up the next week?
What
he threw up the next week?
No one.
So everybody's got Simpson winning this.
I got Simpson winning big.
Yeah.
Simpson in a slaughter.
Yeah. Now on to our last game. We have the Mendenhall Tigers taking on Raleigh. You know, I don't think that this game is. Raleigh's 1-4. Obviously, Mendenhall's undefeated. The new rankings came out, and Mendenhall is now 6th in 4A. But I think this game's a lot closer than people think it is. Obviously, Michael Jr. going down, that's going to hurt. But I don't know. I think Raleigh's just one of those teams every year that can just sneak a win in on somebody when they're not supposed to.
I would have said that last year, but this year
I truly think that this game's going to be. I think it's going to be a lot closer, and I'm not saying it's going to be some 3 points. No, nothing like that. I think close in my eyes is about 7 to 14 points.
That would be close for this game.
I would have said last year that Raleigh had a chance with Moncrief.
Chris Moncrief.
Yeah,
where did he ever end up going?
Louisiana school, I believe.
Yeah.
Like Tech or somebody?
Yeah, Tech or Lafayette, I believe.
He's playing defense, I think.
Oh, really?
But, anyways, I think Mendenhall, with Michael Jr. going down, yes, it hurts Mendenhall, but Mendenhall has enough at running back that it's not going to matter this game. I mean, John, he's going to step up big. They're going to be able to spread the ball out. I mean, this offense is just so loaded right now that I don't see Raleigh defensively stopping them at all. I mean, I don't think Mendenhall will go up there and score 60 points like they did against Raymond.
First couple weeks.
But, I mean, they're averaging a lot of points. But I think Mendenhall will probably beat them by about 20 points.
Oh, I disagree. I think Mendenhall dropped 60 points this game. Mendenhall all year has relied on the run. And I think that those first couple games when we were beating teams bad, we showed how much depth we have in our running back with the Walker kid. And I think this week we show a lot more passing, and no one's been able to stop it yet, and the danger ain't going to be Raleigh.
Interview. So, Steven plays on the team, so we're going to interview him.
He's on the team.
Hey, so we're going to interview Steven. Steven, you know, this is not, in most people's eyes, going to be close. You know, most people think that Mendenhall is going to stomp Raleigh. Are the players on the Mendenhall football team getting a little ahead of themselves? Like, what is the preparation for this game just like the preparation for Purvis or any other game, or are some people kind of taking Raleigh light?
I wouldn't say so. I think, you know, our coaches preach that every week is, you know, could be our last game. You know, we play it like our last game, and we've preached all year, you know, can't have letdowns. That's what preached against Raymond, preached it against McGee, you know, teams that you're supposed to beat. You got to still come in and play the game. So I think, you know, they've kind of instilled that attitude in us, and I think we'll have it again this week.
I wouldn't say any of Mendenhall right now. For what I can tell, I don't think any of them really have a big head.
I'm gonna ask one more question. Obviously the new rankings have come out. Mendenhall, they fall at 6th in the top 10 in 4A, and if I'm not mistaken, and now don't quote me on this, but I believe the only teams in front of them are, maybe except for Poplarville, but
Poplarville and East Central are the only South teams.
The only South teams. Okay. So
there's only 3 undefeateds left in 4A. East Central, us, and Summerall, all in the South.
So what brings me to my question is, do you think that these rankings and kind of the pressure that comes with these rankings, do you think that's going to affect this team at all?
Honestly, I don't think most of the team looks at the rankings. It's not a big deal. It really doesn't mean anything at all in high school football. It's just kind of there. I mean, it means absolutely nothing. Those ranks mean nothing when you go to play playoffs. Those ranks mean nothing for district games. I mean, I think the team will be more focused on getting a 1 seed for playoffs than being the 1 for Mississippi Gridiron.
I have one last short question. Who do you think would be, I guess you could say, the hardest competition you think Mendenhall's going to play in these upcoming weeks?
West Lauderdale is always really good. Got a lot of.
That's our homecoming, isn't it?
Yeah, they scheduled West Lauderdale.
I believe so.
I don't know why you would schedule your hardest team for
year.
homecoming.
West Lauderdale and Quitman will be the 2 toughest tests. And
Northeast is better than they have been.
West Lauderdale and Quitman are both at home this year, so we got lucky with that. But
that's good.
West Lauderdale is just a team that's going to pound it down your throat. Their team, they got great linemen, and Quitman is just another team full of athletes. So both of those teams.
I think Mendenhall's going to drop one of those games.
Coming back to the Mendenhall-Raleigh game, this game will not be close at all. Mendenhall can hang a million on Raleigh if they wanted to. Hopefully the JV dresses, because they'll be needed in this game by the third quarter, maybe the second.
It's funny a lot of people cause bias because usually think nobody's picked against Mendenhall yet.
But honestly, if you're watching this,
have we been wrong so far with them?
No, this game won't be close. Mendenhall kills Raleigh. Michael Jr., he's hurt or whatever, but he wouldn't have to play. Half the team could not play, and Mendenhall could still put away Raleigh. It's going to be a murder.
It's a similar injury to what Jordan had last year, but the difference is we have more depth this year at running back. Last year it was Jordan or bust, and Jordan got hurt in a time where Christian went down as well, so we needed Jordan to step up, and Jordan had 300 yards with a separated shoulder. Well, against West Lauderdale, a good West Lauderdale team.
And like 100 yards in kick return yards.
He might, I don't know about that.
I'm not going to sit here and say that.
He had like 4 touchdowns
so
that game.
We're thankful this year that, Michael Jr. can take a week or 2 off and get healed up for the home stretch of this season as we weren't last year. And that kind of ended up biting us in the butt.
I want to say, I'm not going to sit here and say that it's good Michael Jr.'s hurt, but I do think that this gives him 2 or 3 weeks before district starts to have him 100% healthy. I would not risk anything. I'd sit him this week and next. And then
next week's a district game.
Really? If Mendenhall can stay healthy, go to the playoffs healthy,
I'd wait
till West Lauderdale.
It might be in Simpson County.
Now going back over this week's picks, it's really not that hard. Madison Central Clinton, it's a unanimous decision with Clinton. McGee and Lanier, Alex and Steven have Lanier winning. Us 3 have McGee. Simpson, unanimous decision. Simpson's going to win this football game. Same for Mendenhall.
This is easily been
this is
the
the
easiest week.
The only split game is McGee Lanier.
Yeah, I mean honestly,
and that could go either way. We don't know, but other than that, it looks like a pretty.
Yeah.
Hey, if I'm not mistaken, no, I think we did make a mistake. Doesn't McGee have 3 wins?
It is 3-2.
It said
I thought we said 2.
No, they're 3-2.
Okay.
Well, that's going to do it for us here at GroupCast Sports. I want to thank you all for watching. I want to give a big shout out to our sponsors, Maggie Made Designs, Brandy's Hope, People's Bank, and Sharon Ammann's Rodan and Field Business. If you would like to become a sponsor for any segment on GroupCast Sports, all you have to do is contact us. You can get all of our contact information on our website. That's www.groupcastsports.com. Be sure to like us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and subscribe to our YouTube page. That's where all of these videos will be posted. And also, I want to let everyone know that we do have a couple more things that we are working on right now that should be out to the public here soon. We've all been discussing it, talking about it, getting it all ready, working out the kinks. So we're really excited about that. Everyone, be sure to continue to send in your games each and every week if you want your school to be featured. And like Randy said last week, if you would like you and somebody else at your school would like to do something like a Tiger Talk, Trojan Talk, Cougar Chat, anything like that, we're always looking to expand. That's something that we would love to do. We'd love to sit down and talk to you. And so yeah, that's going to do it for us here at GroupCast Sports. For another episode of Pick'em, I want to thank you for watching. That was the best inning we've had.